Well, that's a mistake, and Joshua King has gone down. And the referee says penalty. Penalty to Watford. Here goes Ismaila Sarr. Oh, it's a poor penalty. Ismaila Sarr again. Oh, it's saved again. Oh, extraordinary. Collected by Dennis. And there is Joshua King. Well, you can't say they haven't deserved that. Sarr. Oh, he's done it. Ismaila Sarr puts his penalty disappointment firmly behind him to lash Watford into a 2-0 lead. Sancho, Ronaldo's there, and Van de Beek is in the right place at the right time to head Manchester United right back into this game. Oh, a big risk there from Maguire, who's already been booked. Wow. He's going for his pocket. It's a second yellow card for Harry Maguire. What a calamity. Dennis. João Pedro again. Would you believe it? That seals the victory. A huge goal for the young Brazilian. Hernandez. Dennis. Oh, they've got another one. It just gets better and better for Watford, and more calamitous for Manchester United.
Glory Manchester United, and welcome again to another wonderful episode of this podcast. And this podcast episode will be analysing our last match with Watford. We went away from home from Old Trafford to Watford to play against them, and it was disappointing as usual. Because it seems now we're on a disappointing streak, getting losses from here and there, from small teams, from big teams. So in our last match against Watford, we were whooped again 4-1. 4-1, we were whooped 4-1, a very disastrous match. Assuming some things actually happened in the match, would have been whooped probably 6-0. Not even 1. Because assuming Van de Beek didn't come into the match again, there would have been a saviour in the match. So thank God for Van de Beek that saved us. I got us a goal at least. After he scored, assuming we pressured them the man, at least put up a disciplined attitude towards the ball, we could have equalized. But we went up and put up our disappointing game as usual, and they added 2 again to the 2, making it 4-1 at full time. It was a very crazy match. When the match started, Sam missed 2 penalties. Thanks to the game, because he saved the both penalty. The first penalty was rebounded by another Watford player, and the ref said the guy made the move before the ball, so they had to take the penalty. So now, when they took the second penalty, the guy again was on fire and he caught it. Although Sam didn't play the ball with attitude and everything, but that's their fault. So now going to the analysis of the match, I want to see what happened in the match, what were the analysis, who outplayed who. We had more ball possession, we had 1% ball possession, and they had 39 ball possession. So imagine you losing 4-1 to someone you had 61% ball possession over. Like, how come, how possible? What could be wrong? The attitude, these guys are fucking lazy. I don't know why, probably don't want to pursue Ole. Well, I don't know. We had 9 shots. Imagine we having 61% of ball possession and having 9 shots, just 9 shots, compared to people that had 39% of ball possession and they had 20 shots against us. Then they had 17 chances created and we had 9 chances created. They had 3 big chances and we had 3 big chances. They had 224 accurate passes. We had 442 accurate passes. 67% pass success, and they had 80%. And we had 80% pass success. They had 7 fouls considered, and we had 5. They had 8 corners, and we had just 3. They had 1 offside, and we had 4. In this shot analysis, we had 3 shots on target and 5 off target, just air balls. They had 7 on target and they had 6 off target. They had 7 blocked shots and we had 1 blocked shot. Just came to whoop our eyes. And we went to get our house whooped. They had 224 accurate passes. We had 442 passes. They had 87 passes in their own half. And we had 290 passes in our own half. They had 137 passes in our half. And we had 152 passes in their half. They had 335 passes in total. We had 553 passes in total. We had 67% pass success, and we had 80% pass success. Imagine we having more pass success and more passes than them. We had more touches than them. Just imagine how they broke us. Like, even after dominating the game, they found a way to tear us apart. So they played in the long angles of the ball. They played long balls than us. They had 68 long balls and we had 60. And we were unable to penetrate them from our wings. And probably based on the way Ole arranges the squad, it's very difficult for them to at least come from the wings because now they are very used to the middle now for a very long time. And that's what I've been trying. And now that you have a lot of wingers in the team, it's very difficult to even play them out because probably doesn't have a strategy for wingers. I don't know. But it is what it is. We got whooped in our last match against Watford 4-1. And now we are back to our losses. Well, we've been in losses for a very long time now. And it's very difficult to get out. And now to the blog post. What are the bloggers saying about the game? How was the reaction after this disastrous loss to Watford? Who is below in the table? And they were able to break us and throw us to the 8th position. It's very crazy now. It's very crazy to see a lot of teams like West Ham, Arsenal, Wolves and Tottenham above us. Very, very crazy. We fight for the top 4 position, not surviving position. Bro, this is very crazy. So to the blog post, there's a big gist and the gist is Ole is out. We want Ole out and now Ole is out finally. So now let's see what the bloggers are saying. And now that Ole is out, guess who's taking over? Mikey Carrick is going to be our interim coach for a while, and until we get a new coach, which I'm really hoping Zidane actually answer our call and come to our team because we need the kind of discipline he has in our team, like the kind of discipline he can impact on those players. He has coached Ronaldo and Varane before, so it won't be difficult for him to go around these younger ones. So imagine having those players that have coached around before. They'll be able to bring your respect into the team. So he doesn't need to ask for respect. He's going to meet the respect in the team. So his discipline will be welcomed by the players, provided he can at least give results. At least we just need a top level coach. We don't need that won't have the confidence to control and give these players roles. To the blog post, you see a post saying Harry Maguire reviews Ole Gunnar Solskjaer parting message to Manchester United player. Okay, he said one thing he said is that he will be supporting us and wanting us to win every game of football, which obviously shows the values of the man. Yes, 100%. Ole is a very good man, but his charisma cannot hold this team. We need a coach with a great charisma and great confidence. He said the manager came and spoke to us. It was an emotional day and everyone has got a huge amount of respect for Ole and what he's done for the club. He's a legend of the club and he will remain a legend. I don't want to go into too much depth about what he said, but he wished us well. He said we need to get back on track, get focused for the game against Villarreal now, and make sure we go into it with a positive mindset. He said we've got to look forward, we've got to move this club forward and find something within ourselves, within the group, to find our focus and mentality to produce a good performance tomorrow and get the result we need for this club. Oh yes, I love Ole so much. His emotional aspect of the part he has brought to Manchester United has given us the vibe of Manchester back. Like Manchester United is an emotional club. We are big on it as one win trophies also. Just unfortunate he can't produce the result we want. So it's best for him to actually leave. At least just to reduce the humiliation, because it's not all about him, it's about the team. And if you can't produce results, you have to give room for someone else to step in and try to change anything that seems unchangeable by you. So I feel it's a fair fight, it's a fair play rather. And again, receiving huge amount of money, so how long? It's going to be fine. So we are with Ole and Ole is with us forever. Another post saying Jesse Lingard hoping for big Manchester United chance following Ole Gunnar Solskjaer exit. 100%. This man has been on the bench, man, throughout this man still. Like, how come? He went to West Ham, brought West Ham up, gave them the confidence they need. Now West Ham is among the top 4 of Premier League table. So imagine, like, and you as a coach not understanding that this person brings this kind of mentality, even though it's play for whatever, but like Lingard brings this mentality of confidence also, and like you could have built it, like you have built his confidence by using him constant, and if he flops, you know what to work on. But unfortunately, Solskjaer didn't get the chance to bring out Lingard's glory. He said now that Solskjaer is gone, sources have confirmed that Lingard is hoping for what seems a big chance to cement his place in the squad. The player has not had the opportunity he wants or believe he deserved this season, but the managerial change could now provide it. Yes, 100% I believe also. And we're going to see that in the next couple of weeks. I actually hoping the best for the team. Like, I want Manchester doing a very good job. And now they say why Mauricio Pochettino will be in Manchester this week. He says here that Sir Alex Ferguson has a good relationship with the Argentine as Pochettino and may even take a moment to meet the boss. Like, discreetly, Pochettino is in Manchester right now. Of course, in this age and day, talks could have take place wherever Pochettino is over Zoom, but it's better for a multi-million hire like this than an actual face-to-face meeting occurs. Most likely, Pochettino visit to Manchester will be smoke and mirrors. A lot of speculation before he returns to France with PSG. But if it's determined to move to United right away, this week's schedule provides him the perfect opportunity to speed it along. Alright, we'll go see the way things turn out to be in the next few weeks, as we'll be expecting a new manager in the team. So that's that about today's blog post. Remember to always be a Manchester United fan. Support the team because this team is coming up to take over. Alright, that will be the end. See you guys in the next episode. Remember to subscribe to this podcast, whichever platform you are listening from. Remain